What's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary reaction video, man. So we got Michael Duffy here, man. Shout out to him for making this amazing video that I'm reacting to. So we got Trump's Fury roasted Biden. Apparently Trump has was able to campaign because he obviously, as we know, he's on trial in New York, and he can't say much about the trial. Because things are being handled from a legal proceeding standpoint while he takes care of that part of business, while also still he's still running for president for 4 years and, to be president again. So during this break of him not being in court, he was able to go on, he was able to go to take a campaign trip and actually go out and campaign, as usually what candidates do, going out there, running their campaign events, reaching out to the people, talking to the people, engaging with the people. I'm curious to see within the midst of all that, which, with legal proceedings and also running a campaign, how busy Donald Trump could be. With that being said, let's see how the campaign went for the day in which he finally got to break free for a little bit of a time and using his time productively to attribute to his campaign run, getting out, connecting with the people. So let's go.
Trump is going in on Joe Biden right now. So Donald Trump today had an off day from his trial. And what does he do? He goes to campaign. And who is he attacking? Joe Biden, the most powerful man on earth. So why don't we just jump into this, see what's going on. All right, let's do it.
For that freezing court icebox, also known as the America's Newsroom studio this morning with Bill Hemmer. But back in the warmth of his supporters, including Uncle Sam, you can see him there. The former president had a rare break from his criminal hush money trial today, and he used that time off to hit the campaign trail in battleground states, Wisconsin and Michigan. A Fox News head-to-head matchup shows Trump holds the advantage in Michigan, and he's tied with Biden in Wisconsin, which is where Trump gave voters one heck of a show today.
I don't think it's that close.
Uncle Sam is right.
I wonder why Michael said you don't think it's that close. I don't know if he's talking from a national standpoint or just like, I think he might be talking from a national standpoint instead of just a specified states that has been shown in the video here.
Look at him. You are perfect. He's in good shape. Thank you, Uncle Sam. Look at this guy. You think Biden can bend down like that? I don't think so. We're leading virtually every swing state by a lot. And
well, didn't Biden have a dinner? He had a White House dinner, and he said he was going against a 6-year-old little kid, and he's a grown man. So, I guess, I mean, it's different because when you compete, it should be fair, right? You should be able to compete where you guys are both running and, out there, running your campaigns and not try to roast someone with them not being able to campaign. You know what I'm saying? But Trump still got it in, figured it out as a man, and still doing his thing and managing all of these things and, still being productive. So let's continue.
To make America great again. Biden has run the government like Robin Hood, essentially in reverse, stealing from the poor and giving it to the rich. And we're going to throw out Bidenomics, and we're going to replace it with...
He said Bidenomics. Economics. But he said we're going to use the facts. We're going to not use Biden or some makeup type of economics. He's basically, I don't know what economics or what standpoint or what factual statistic standpoints they're looking at. But we're looking at the actual ones of experts, I guess, joking wise.
Isn't it nice to have a president who doesn't need a teleprompter? Not that he can read it anyway.
You can be the biggest Trump hater in the entire world, but you have to give credit where credit is due. He goes up there on stage and just wings it for like 2 hours. There's maybe a handful of people who could do that. Meanwhile, Biden just struggles reading teleprompter, just like you said. Honestly, crazy how some people think he's the better option.
Hold on. This is throwing me off, man. I know this have nothing to do with the topic of the video. My man Michael Duff, you got some mayonnaise in the back of your head, bro. Like, literally, it was like, you can't miss it, bro. But let's stay on topic. Let's say the fact, man. I mean, I was just saying, just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there, man. Gotta have some humor, some type of way these days, man. You gotta stay positive and pure,
A new report claims he's working on highly secretive campaign videos in his home state of Delaware. It sounds like it's a big budget flick with high-end video production and extras on the set. And if that doesn't sound Hollywood enough, Steven Spielberg is going to help Biden produce the entire convention that they'll have in August in Chicago.
Do less time
Kevin,
doing
one
that
of the things
and
President
more time helping the
Trump
American
decided
people.
to do today is have a big laser focus on the economic message.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on out here, man. We got the migrant crisis. We got the border situation. We got our migrants getting free support. You know, we got American people struggling. Inflation is high. Gas is high. Food is high. There's a lot going on in these streets, man. And my man is over here investing in a film for the convention. Nothing wrong with investing in it, but at the end of the day, the people come first because the people are the voice. But also, family, I just want to keep in line. Also, not only is from a national standpoint, the presidential election is important. First, your local communities and local individuals in local elections that you vote for, such as your judges, your governors, your mayors, they are important as well. You can't put everything on the president because every state has different laws and every state is governed in some way, shape, or form. That's why they have the tier of power. No one has all the power. It's shared powers that be. But we must vote them in responsibly. And the one who lobbies the best interest in regards of policy for what's best for all people and American people and communities and local communities and keep the economy running the right way and not a short-term way where we end up having a long-term impact that's actually a disaster.
You know that you mentioned border security and immigration is one of the top issues, but we also know that the economy is. And he really talked about how Biden is saying that he would let Trump's tax cuts expire and letting that settle into the people's consciousness. So your thoughts on Maganomics and comparing that to Biden?
Yeah, I love to have this narrative.
Shouts out to Kevin O'Leary, man. I love watching Shark Tank.
Getting into the partisanship about talking about who's running politically to win as president. Taxes, when you raise them, slow growth. It doesn't matter who you are, what party you're in. And right now, we've avoided a recession. We had a soft landing, which was engineered by the Fed. It's amazing they did it. The last thing you want to do now, while inflation still is above 3%, is to whack it with more taxes. Because when you tax the middle class, that is a form of inflation. You leave them with less money to deal with an already inflated cost of food and energy and housing. That's a really, really bad idea. But I get the rhetoric of saying, let's tax the rich. Let's make them.
He's taxing the middle class, but he's also trying to tell them, hey, we'll help buy first home buyers. I think Biden's having a program where he's actually helping people get in houses because the housing market is so crazy. But let alone the taxes is so crazy. So at the end of the day, the expense of being in a house is overbearing. But they don't have much money, like Kevin O'Leary said, to allocate. It's literally people making six figures living paycheck to paycheck. 6 figures is not enough. And always two is better. 2 is always greater than 1. So at the end of the day, you have to look at you trying to use taxes and you trying to impose taxes, thinking that it's actually creating a solution when actually it's creating problems from an economic standpoint for growth not to continue to take its course. That's what Kevin O'Leary is saying, basically.
A fair share. You've been listening to that for 200 years. Mm-hmm. That's ever since the first tax came to America. But it doesn't work right now. I'm against changing anything that would cost more to the middle class because we keep forgetting all the time that 62% of jobs in America are created by small businesses, family businesses in America. They're already struggling with inflation.
True.
We got to give them a break. So who's ever president, we got to keep the taxes the way they are. And there's one other aspect here that people got to think about. We're in the G20. We compete with other countries for capital. That's what I do. I run around the world raising capital to bring it here to America. That's what I do. We want to be in the middle in terms of taxation, not at the top end. We don't need to be at the low end, in the middle where we are right now. When we were seeing all this...
So he's basically saying, look, we need a medium here. We need to keep things steady We need to stop going high. We need to stop going low. Things have to be allocated and things have to come to a medium.
Of pharma companies leaving for Ireland 2 decades ago is because it wasn't fair. The taxation was too high. Let's not do that to ourselves again. Let's stay exactly where we are. So what I hope happens here, even if Biden wins, is somebody will talk sense into the policy and say, not now. You won. You're president. We're not going to do something stupid to our economy. But this should be an election issue. The reason the market's so buoyant, the reason it hangs in here, and a little small correction, but there's a 50-50 chance you get better policy for small business and large business in America. And that's because Trump policy is more accommodative for business, less regulation, more support for energy, better in terms of foreign.
Because at the end of the day, I think he's basically saying, to break it down in simple terms, he said he raises capital under other countries and bring it to America. But what about the American people raising capital within America and bringing it to America within America?
In terms of what you think about how you have to compete foreign, I think that's why the market's waiting to see what happens.
You see, that's the thing. In theory, tax the rich sounds like a good idea. Like, oh yeah, the people who make billions, just make them pay a little bit more. No, but that doesn't work. Because when you tax the rich, they're just going to move elsewhere. Look at California, for instance. Elon Musk, Joe Rogan used to call that place their home. Meanwhile, what did they both do? They left to Texas. Less taxes. And what does that mean? Less jobs for people in California. California is just getting...
Exactly. You're taxing the people that's helping the American people. So that eventually they have to readjust. And then that causes for eventually you taxing the wealthy, it trickles down to the taxes being imposed. The wealthy can manage it. The wealthy, they'll be okay. They'll be fine. They just readjust a couple things, allocate their funds, make wise adjustments. But the people under them suffers the most. Because the people who are the beneficiary are the ones who are within the company. But then when you start taxing the company makes readjustments. So at the end of the day, they continue to flourish. Because it's always from a business perspective. It always comes down to the money. And at the end of the day, people get laid off. The company find better alternatives. They readjust, go to a state that may have less taxes. The people within one state suffer, and then they go to another state. They may benefit, but it's shaky ground. Everything's unprecedented.
And worse by the day. You don't want to tax the rich if you want to get the middle class rolling again.
Exactly.
But stimulate growth and have tax incentives for keeping companies in this country. Exactly. So many countries now are outsourcing to India, China. We need to keep this all in America.
And the capital goes outward.
Rich, it seems like a smart idea, but he's just forcing these companies out of this country.
Exactly.
This is why.
And they have the monies to basically relocate, do their thing elsewhere, handle their business elsewhere. Take it elsewhere, but small businesses, they definitely crumble.
2020 was a weird campaign because of COVID. But 2016, he was a happy campaigner. He's back out there. How can what you saw today compete with like a Steven Spielberg production?
Well, I think Steven Spielberg is perfect for Joe Biden. He did make Jaws, so he's used to working with a dead fish. And he also did E.T., which, like Joe, is another shriveled creature that can't work a phone.
Oh, my goodness.
But
can't work a phone.
What's the message here?
Oh, my goodness.
When you have no measurable success, you need a story. You can't tout the economy, the border, crime, the unity we were promised. So you hire a storyteller to create a narrative that cannot be measured in statistics or prices or body count. So that's what he's trying to do. I just hope Spielberg weaves in.
Look at the vice president, Kamala Harris. She was just on some show. I forgot the show. He was talking about being mamala, being the mother of the country, let alone being a stepmother. What does that have to do with the situation of what's going on here as the American people are sitting here suffering and they're having effects that are being taken place due to the decisions that are taken, due to decisions that are happening from a policy standpoint, from an economic standpoint? Nothing. While you suffer, the American people, immigrants get more free benefits and are the beneficiary for the things that the American people pay for, being working class people and hardworking people. They keep coming into the country. States. You got some of them letting them in. You got to look at New York. Out there giving debit cards, credit cards, cards loaded with money. Look at Chicago. Brandon Johnson. They call them large gatherings. Asylum seekers. All these words and terms. Police. Can't do much. California. Criminals out on the street. Destroying communities. They let them back out as soon as they do something detrimental to harm the community. Defund, not investing in the police as much. Taking away shot spotters. New York. In their train station. People getting stabbed up. But I do give Mayor Eric Adams the credit of investing in the train system in regards of this system where it's a technology where they can see as you walk by the scanners, they call them. There's a scanner so you can see if anyone has any weapons that are harmful to themselves or others around to protect the train stations. A lot of things going on, housing. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give this video a big thumbs up. Peace.